We are back, baby. The hottest Calcio podcast. Gianni, Adriano, I'm Nicholas. We don't have any album announcements from Taylor Swift to make on this podcast. We will leave that to the Kelsey brothers. But we're back, season 8, guys. Can you believe that? First of all, how are you guys doing?
Season 8, good. Man, flew by. Holy hell.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, I still can't believe it's season 8. It's like just a roller coaster of episodes, of emotions, of things that just have gone on in Calcio and in life. It's been crazy. So yeah, happy to be back like always, and can't wait for the new Serie A season to start.
It's crazy, man. In the 8 seasons, I've seen Roma win a conference league, and I've seen Napoli win 2 Scudetti. It's
something that you hadn't seen before the podcast started. So
you're telling me that the podcast brings good luck to my teams. Let's go.
Let's get it.
So basically, Napoli's won 2 Scudetti. Juve, in the time that we've been doing this, won 2. So me and you were tied for number of Scudetti won.
Yes, in the span of 8 years.
In the span of 8 years. Millian has the 1.
Yes.
And then Inter has the 2, right? So 7 seasons prior to this one, right? Yes. Yeah. The math is math. The math
is mathing.
Yeah. For once.
Big season ahead because it is a World Cup season. It feels like we just said that, which is true. The 2022-2023 season, 3 years ago was also a World Cup season. But there's going to be a lot of storylines with that. Italy still has to qualify, as we know. They play games in a month from now. There's going to be transfers right now. They're happening for players to prove themselves ahead of the World Cup. One of those, Jonathan David, that we'll talk about with Juve. So it's exciting stuff. The Serie A, it's going to, like always, it's going to be an exciting season. Nothing like, groundbreaking in terms of transfer. We're not seeing any Ronaldo transfers, but we've seen a couple of, tweaks here and there with our teams especially. De Bruyne's probably the big name, right, of the summer coming to the City, but also Luka Modric. I think in terms of career history, Modric is the bigger player. In terms of current talent, you got to give that to De Bruyne. So 2 outstanding midfielders, joining the league. We're doing a Serie A preview, season preview. I know it's 10 days away from kickoff, but Johnny, you're going to Italy because it feels like between the 3 of us, we're always going to Italy these days. Adriano's leading the pack.
Yeah, I think I have the most caps going to Italy in the calendar year so far.
Did you go this summer or no? No, you went in it was the spring, right?
I would like to, but maybe I don't know. I wanted to know. I went last summer. Last June I went last October, and then I was there last April for my cousin's wedding. But no Italy trips booked just yet, but hopefully in the future. But Johnny's up. He's up in a couple weeks. No, a couple days. What is it?
I'm leaving we're supposed to be leaving Sunday. We're recording tonight. It's Wednesday, depending on when people listen to this. But I'm supposed to be leaving Sunday. The 18th. What is it? Sunday's the 18th. I have names. Kanazachi.
Something like that.
1738. But apparently with all this Air Canada strike going on, it might be moved to Monday. I don't know. I have to see. You need to speak to my Zia. She's a travel agent, so I have to figure things out with her and stuff and go from there. But pretty excited. It's gonna be like my second time in 2 years. I went in 2023 a couple years ago. It's gonna be my 4th time in my life that I've been. It's amazing. I always love to go see family and stuff, and we try my absolute best to try to go spend a couple of days in my dad's hometown. I have some relatives that are there now, just visiting and stuff. So I'm gonna try to see if maybe I can use them as like a little in to go visit, like some extended, just to reintroduce myself to some extended family members that I haven't seen since I was like 4 years old. So that's it really.
One of these days, I think we're gonna have like a Calcio guys Italy trip. I think.
Definitely.
If the budget permits it, I don't know. We'll see. But.
every summer, man, I'm off for 2-3 months every summer because of the school year.
Gotta keep that in mind.
Some of us have jobs.
My job permits me those times, so I'm pretty sure you guys can figure it out.
No, I'm just bugging Johnny. But no Serie A game for you this time around. Even though you're there, you're gonna be there opening weekend, but you're gonna be busy.
I'm gonna try to see I'm gonna try to see if I can fit it. Problem is, I leave the Saturday the 30th, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go see a game during the
Well,
Saturday.
games start when the 23rd. Or was it the
23rd, yeah.
23rd?
I could probably see if I can probably squeeze a game into the 23rd, but I highly doubt it.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the city on Wednesday and Thursday in Napoli, but that's about it. I'll probably go see if maybe I can go to the city on the Saturday just to go watch the game at a cafe nearby or something near the Stadio. See, because they have a bunch of cafes there. So
I got the Serie A schedule right here. If you need it.
look at this.
The-
Was that Cittadino? Cittadino?
Cittadino. Got it at the Italian Fest on the weekend.
Shout out Cittadino.
You went to RDP for the Italian Fest?
No, in
Little Italy.
Okay.
Fest.
Well, this weekend's about the Pompeii Feast, by the way. If you want to talk about vintage Italian festivals in Montreal, Pompeii Feast this weekend.
The church.
Well, I know the Ital Fest continues. I know it's in St. Leo on Saturday. I might go to that. Yeah, a lot of Italian feasts in Montreal.
Yeah,
but that's different, right, Johnny, than the Pompeii feast?
The Pompeii Feast is basically Santa Gabriele. It's Saint Gabriel. It's to celebrate Saint Gabriel, our feast. So it's always like it used to be 3 a year. One for June, one for July, one for August during the summers in Montreal. But I think because of like over the years, Saint Michel has become less and less Italian. That because pretty much all the Italians are moving to either Laval or RDP or whatever. That they only do one a year, which is in August. So used to be the biggest thing when I was a kid. I used to go there, finding friends left, right, and center when I was a kid. All the little carnival games they had, concerts. You see all the nonine like sitting up there long chairs in front of the freaking stage that they have. Like it's this big concrete stage that they have built, like an amphitheater type of thing. Performing. There used to be also the soccer tournament going on that went on during the daytime there, because like you would play the soccer tournament on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday was like your last game plus any elimination games if you made it to like the next rounds and stuff. And then basically the finals were played like maybe like an hour or two before the festival started that night. So you would play soccer, and if you made it to the finals, essentially, like I remember being a kid, like winning them, you get your little medals ceremony thing, and then you're basically still in your soccer uniform, but you're staying at the park because like everybody's there. And then there'd be fireworks in the evening after like the concert and the carnival games and stuff. Fond memories of this type of stuff. If there's any like Montreal Italians listening to this kind of podcast before that night, try your best to make your way there. We need to keep these traditions going on. We need to keep them strong. It's something that if they ever go away, we're going to regret it and miss it so much. It's something that we need to be present for it just to make sure that it doesn't go away.
Definitely. That's why I enjoy going into the Italian Fest every year. It's always nice to celebrate the history. Back to Calcio. We're talking transfers. We might as well just go through each of our teams. I know, Johnny, we brought up De Bruyne, so we might as well start with the Serie A champions. They pretty much got better. Bringing De Bruyne, Noah Lang. What did you make of their summer, at least so far?
Honestly speaking, this summer has been a rather interesting one, like an up and down one, but it's been a net positive for the team, and I think overall the team has come out stronger at the end of the summer than they have gone weaker. First of all, let's talk about the outs. The Osimhen saga is finally over. That was the whole back and forth contract deals, and what he wants is in terms of salary, what De Laurentiis is looking in terms of purchasing and whatnot. And I'm very thankful for what Osimhen has done for Napoli. I hate the fact that he's kind of like spoiled his legacy in a way on the way out, so to speak, with his attitude. It's different from like, let's say like Higuain. Higuain left because he was just frustrated because like, fuck it, I want to win a league title. I'm just gonna, I'll transfer to Juve and just get a title there. Hello, it's just me apparently on the screen right now. There we go. That freaked me out for a second because I thought you guys disconnected.
I was trying to do something different, Janny, and just put you front and center since you're talking.
Yeah, fair enough.
Johnny like had to call it out and
Yeah, no,
expose the fact.
Yeah, but I got scared. I got scared because I thought I disconnected from everyone.
Thank God
And
this is season 8 and not season 1, guys.
No,
Holy
I know,
fuck.
but like, so it happened. No, because it happened once when I was a guest appearance on the Raf and Raf podcast.
Shout out.
Which they released an episode recently. I was honored to be a guest on the podcast, and Rafaele had connection issues, and he disconnected. So it was just me in the room, kind of like bantering with the chat back and forth. So
Holy shit.
So so I thought, and we were using basically the same layout that we're using, right? So I panicked because I'm like, is this another one of those situations where it's like I'm gonna have to carry it?
Deja vu.
Yeah, like everybody just disconnect and I gotta continue. Anyways, so now the listeners understand why I did that. But yeah, so Osimhen saga different from Higuain because Higuain is just like, screw this, I'm tired of losing and let me just go get an easy championship. Versus Osimhen grinded for that championship, but obviously, like we all knew that Napoli wasn't a final destination for him. You had to be like Kvaratskhelia, you had to be an idiot to believe that he was going to stay here forever. But it's just towards the end of it, instead of being humble about it, you kind of use it to boost up your own ego, and you don't do that. Like the city of Napoli, yes, they haven't won they didn't win a championship since the 90s, but it wasn't because of the teams like they knew they were going to get there eventually for how passionate the city is for soccer. It's not because of one player. It's not because of Osimhen that they finally won the Scudetto. There's been many years prior to that where they came close. It's like, it was just, they finally got a good year and they've capitalized on it. Same thing as this past season with Conte. They got another good year and they capitalized on it. Anyways, stars were aligned, but that's done. What hurts the most, actually, that I really don't like seeing them go was Raspadori and Simeone. Simeone I loved so much. I think these guys were great either starting or right off the bench to be a super sub type of thing. Like, these guys were phenomenal. They did a lot of great things for the team. They weren't the best guys on the score sheets, but they were just guys that you can always the moments. Yes, the moments. And like, for example, Simeone's Champions League run a couple of seasons ago was just like above and beyond what you ever expected from him. And especially as Simeone carries Napoli in his heart, especially being an Argentinian Italian, it's a place that he can call a secondary home. But anyways, it's kind of tough, I just hope that they're like for example, Raspadori at Atletico and Simeone at Torino. I really hope that they get like top opportunities and like Simeone for sure is going to get starting minutes in Torino, and Raspadori in Atletico. I believe he will be. I'm not too well informed about La Liga to make a statement on that, but I believe he will be.
Interesting move, I found.
Yeah, very interesting. But you know what? Good for him. Like, it's not often you'll see like an Italian make a jump to La Liga. So you know what? And especially like to a team like Atletico. So good for him. I wish them the best. Osimhen, I wish him the best too. No ill will. Honestly, there was never any ill will. It's just kind of sour in my mouth with how it ended. But
yeah.
But anyways. But the additions, De Bruyne. What is like? It's crazy how like I'm like, oh yeah, Napoli got Kevin De Bruyne. It's like, huh? My exact reaction was, it's like when I heard that Ancelotti was going to be our manager a few years ago, like 7-8 years ago. When I found out Ancelotti was going to be our manager, I'm like, huh? Like it's just like the Home Improvement. Huh? I was just there like, I never expected this. It's like you're playing FIFA. We were talking about it just before. It's like playing FIFA via GM mode, and you see like those random transfers on like the CPU that they do, and just like Kevin De Bruyne to Napoli, and you're like, no wait, this is real. What the fuck? Obviously, last season he got 6 goals, 8 assists, and 40 appearances. It's not stellar freaking numbers, but you know what? Like, I'm curious to see how he does in Serie A. Serie A is obviously it's a slower pace of a league, but it's very tactical of a league, very methodic, very calculated. So I think and I'm pretty sure, AJ, you're going to touch upon it for Modric. Even though these guys are at a certain age, it's not a retire. It's like the slower pace, yes, kind of suits them because they don't have to worry about it, but their brains are still there. And I think this is going to suit them more because in terms of tactics, these guys are going to learn and adapt so quickly that their ages are not going to show. I'm pretty sure you're going to get to that when you get to Modric. But that's how KDB is like what, 34, 35?
33, 34, I thought. Yeah,
He's a
34?
year older than you, Johnny.
Yeah, so like the guy's more fit than I am, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna be good to go.
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
You see some of those videos, man. He's tripping over the ball. I don't know, man. He looks a
it's
little
okay.
chachot.
It's okay, but look what basically what freaking oh my god, my brain just shut down like the Windows XP fucking thing. Oh my God, Lukaku.
Yeah.
Like basically like what Lukaku did, like Conte put him back into peak physical condition, so to
True.
speak. And I'm pretty sure KDB is going to follow suit, and having Lukaku there is going to be helpful for him. But yeah, it's gonna make a move for so moving on. Bukima Mamata in the center back position is gonna be a nice addition. I think Milinkovic Savic, the keeper, is gonna be great. Like more like it's like I feel like we gotten better in that between the poles has been better. Center back, we like center back, so Bukima has been getting better. Obviously, we have Buongiorno. It's gonna be more improved. Lorenzo Luca. That's basically why you can kind of, make the sacrifice with Raspadori and Simeone. You have the opportunity to get a young center forward on your team, and with the option to buy, which if he has a good season, I think they might execute on that. And then you finally get your left wing to replace Kvaratskhelia and Noah Long. I think that's probably one of the most exciting signings too for the team. I know everybody was focused on KDB, but in terms of impact up front, that's going to be very nice to see. Is Noah Long, Lang. Thank you. So used to Latin pronunciations. Noah Lang. That I think honestly he might be my prediction for Napoli's most impactful signing this season. I'm talking about best signing, but most impactful, like the position or the player that's gonna be you know what, this was probably our best signing this year. This was our might not be the best player of the season, but the best signing out of all the players and stuff. So that's what I'm gonna go with in terms of my prediction. So overall, fantastic market for Napoli, especially following a Scudetto winning season. You want to improve, not regress. And despite the players that left, I think overall Napoli improved. Now it remains to be seen how this roster is going to do now with an extra competition in the rotation. Not only is there Serie A and Coppa Italia, but now you're back in Champions League. So that remains to be seen. And that's where the very big question mark is going to be. Is Conte able to, divide this roster in 3 different parts, or even 2? If he wants to sacrifice one of the competitions in 2 different parts, is he able to? I mean, we saw Inter try this season, and Inter wasn't able to get over the finish line for any of the 3 competitions that they were in. So, do you want to have I think you're looking at what Inter did last year as an example of if we put our eggs in too many different baskets, we don't get results in any of them. On paper, as much as they improved Napoli, I still have a hard time saying that they're better than Inter. In terms of just the solidity and the unity that Inter has compared to, what this Napoli team has. So just a finish line and playing on my point about Napoli. I don't think they have the capabilities of winning all 3. So if I'd hope they focus on one. I'm just interested to see which one Conte wants to focus on.
Yeah. No, I think just to even bounce off to some of your points there, I think, like you said, it was a good point of bringing up the Inter situation last year, there's how their season went and how it ended. They were in the fight until the very end, and obviously it didn't go their way at the end of the season. But if Conte is smart, he kind of looks at that and maybe divides it in maybe 2 instead of 3, right? I think he's definitely focusing on the league. It's a league that, in many people's eyes that I've been seeing around, the Calcio Serie A world, it's Napoli's, every time you're the champion, it's kind of yours to lose, right? For the following season. And can you repeat and can the magic still, happen? Again, remains to be seen, but I think Conte will definitely focus on the league, and I think he'll do as as best and go as far as they can in Champions League. And if that's coming out of the group, if that's, making it to, quarterfinal, semifinal, like, I don't know, we're too early to really tell and to see and to say, but I think for getting back into the Champions League with Conte, I think it's going to be again, if he stays for, the long haul, I think it would be a kind of like a baby steps approach. And I don't think they're going to hit a home run in the Champions League right off the bat. I think getting out of the group would be the first step, and see what happens after that. But yeah, Nick, I guess I'll let you go for maybe the Juve transfers before I go.
Yeah, honestly, with Juve, I think it's just the same song and dance as the past few seasons. Players in, players out. It feels like it's just lateral movements. Especially you look at a player like Alberto Costa who came to Juve, I'm pretty sure at the winter transfer window, barely played, and he's already on his way out. Timothy Weah, fine player, again, on his way out. I know there was a lot of drama behind the scenes with that. His agent calling out Juve, calling out Tudor. Obviously, the big one is the Jonathan David, free signing. I love, as much as I love Jonathan David and I absolutely love this move as an Italian Canadian, as a Juve fan. It's so cool to see a starting player on the Canadian national team. He's most likely going to be starting almost every week for Juve. He's not the player that's going to push the needle for this Juve team either. And as it stands right now, August 13th, we don't know what's happening with Vlahovic. He's been part of the team. He's been part of the preseason matches. I can't see them moving forward with David and with Vlahovic. David took number 30, which looks a bit ridiculous, if you ask me.
I agree.
So, I want to get a David Juve jersey, but I'm just going to wait until September to see what happens with Vlahovic. Maybe David switches his number. If they do both stay, I see Vlahovic taking the back seat, pretty much coming off the bench, and that's where he performs worse because, as we know him, it's all mental. One player I'd like them to see bring back is Kolo Muani. It feels like every day there's like a new post about them getting closer, but it never happens. It's like what's always coming but never arrives. The answer is Kolo Muani now. It's not tomorrow. It's Kolo Muani.
Yeah.
But for me, one piece of business that I do like was making the Conceição move permanent. He's a player I really liked last season. He's a player that perfectly replaced Chiesa. And, all of last season, it was pretty much a loan. So it was kind of like, oh, man, we got this great player, but we don't know if he's staying. But now they made it permanent. He's a Juve player. Again, another player, he's not pushing the needle, but he's a player they need. Besides, that, what I'd like to see Juve do, it seems like at this point, they just need to get the striker situation sorted out. I think besides that, this is not a season where they're going to challenge for the Scudetto. I think they know that. I think they just need a roster with enough depth to play in all the competitions that we're playing, including Champions League. I think, in terms of goals for the season, I'd like to see a Coppa Italia win. Keep it simple. We know we're not winning the Champions League. We know we're not winning the Scudetto. Go out and win a trophy. They're not in the Super Coppa. Go out and win a trophy. So I know in the past, every time we've done these predictions, guys have always, had that bias, kind of put Juve near the top. But we'll see later. I don't want to spoil anything, but I really don't think this is going to be a good year for Juve. But I'd like to be surprised.
Yeah, no, I think I've been seeing her even online, just following, getting closer to the season, following, the news a bit more, and people posting stuff and whatnot. It seems like Juve fans are even just frustrated with the lack of business too, right? Like the lack of movement. It's like you brought in David, okay, you brought in, what was it, that João Mario player, I believe, right back, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's I would have to agree. And then keeping Tudor as your coach, it's almost like a last year 2.0 type of situation, and you added Jonathan David, which again, we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, I don't know. Very, very interesting. And I guess when we get to our predictions, we'll have more to discuss. But yeah, for me, in terms of Milan's transfer window, it's been just a hell of a ride so far, up and down, link to this, link to that guy, link to this player, that player. It's and surprisingly they've when you're bringing in a real sporting director, and again, like him or not, I mean, you can have your opinions on him. And again, so far, I'm keeping my opinions about Tade, pretty, to myself. So like for now, and because I want to see how these players pan out before really making any judgments. But he's doing business. He's out there. He's signing players. He's scouting, whatever it is. They're bringing some faces in. So that's been it's been nice to see. And obviously the biggest name is not. I mean, in terms of like the aura, in terms of like just what he's accomplished. The winning. For club, Ballon d'Or, former Ballon d'Or winner, Luka Modric coming to Milan, I think is something that I don't think we would have ever really believed in years past. Again, I know we get him at the ripe age of 39, going on 40, but we've seen these types of players come into Serie A and still have something to give, which is exciting. And to again bounce off to what Johnny said earlier about Kevin De Bruyne, Luka Modric, he's probably not at his 24-year-old self there, but I think just his mind, his reading of the game, the tactics that is behind Serie A, play that we see week in and week out, I think suits these types of players immensely. So I think Luka Modric, all the people are saying it's retirement league and he's just going there just to collect a paycheck. I have to disagree. I'm pretty excited and pretty intrigued to see like what he can actually bring. I know like all the aura and all that, but like I want to see it on the pitch, and he's eager to deliver, and he's taking it seriously, which listening to the press conferences has been really encouraging. And obviously there's the famous picture of him, with the Millian gear as a youngster back in Croatia, and it's cool to see these types of things. But Luka Modric in the midfield, after losing the best midfielder in Serie A last year, Tijani Reinders, to City, he's one of the additions to that midfield that is trying to rejuvenate that midfield again. I like also that they brought in two other midfielders. Samuele Ricci, a young Italian. I really like making this Milan a bit more Italian. I think is a goal. I think for this management, for this for the sporting director Tade, for the new coach in Max Allegri, or new/old coach, however you want to look at it, in Allegri. But bringing in Ricci, I think is huge. This is a player that has cracked into the Azzurri squad as of late. We'll see if that continues under Gattuso. But hell of a player in my opinion. Box to box, he does it all in my opinion. Lots of Serie A experience. He's captained Torino. Throughout the later stages of his time there, and he comes to Milan in a new midfield, and I think it's a bright, hopefully a bright future for him in this Milan squad. A player that we finally had gotten over the line, which I didn't think would ever happen. And again, I don't really know all too much about him, but there's a lot of positive talks surrounding him. Is Yashari from Bruges? Again, young player. Seems to be a player that can contribute offensively as well. Put in that final pass, maybe score a goal here and there. So that's exciting, because last season we had so many of our goals coming through the midfield in Reinders, and we really depended on him a lot. So if we can still get some goals from our midfielders, Ricci has one here and there, Modric the same, and if the Yashari can produce a bit more, I think it will definitely help. So those three additions in the midfield, I think are huge. Who else? Losing Theo Hernandez for me was I know many fans were really over and sick and tired of him after last season, but again, one bad season I think doesn't really paint the whole picture of his time at Milan. In my opinion, at least, I know many Milanisti probably will either agree or disagree on that, but for me, he was an important player. Was he worth the money that he was asking after a bad season? No. Can they have worked it out? I think potentially. It wasn't to be. They sold him off to Saudi, and that's fine. But bringing in Estupinian from, I think he was from Brighton, if I'm not mistaken, left back, Ecuadorian. Again, a profile that I don't really know too much about, but a lot of Premier League minutes, competitive, obviously, league, as much as we like to trash it and to hate on it. But obviously a top 5 league, obviously, top 5 competition, and he's had a lot of minutes out there. So I'm pretty sure a national team player as well. So just an interesting profile. I think he can get forward too. I don't know if it's going to be at Teo Hernandez level in his absolute prime with Milan, but Estupinian is a profile that I'm curious to see, and I'm excited to see that we got some sort of pace and hopefully a bit more defensive stability back there, going forward in this season. So interesting profile. Coney De Winter, as of late, was a new one. Former Juve, former Empoli, former Genoa, former Serie A, just merry-go-round of a player, but very young, I'm pretty sure, in his early 20s. A profile that, again, I know he's been in Serie A, and I haven't really really kept close eye on him, but tall, pretty physical he looks. Again, I think he's been pretty solid in the later stages of his time in, if it be Empoli or if it be Genoa, because I think Juve, I don't really remember him getting many minutes, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he was kind of just a guy that went out on loan and kind of made a transition to these other Serie A clubs. But after losing Malik Chow to Newcastle for 40 million, pulling the plug or pulling the triggers rather for De Winter from Genoa for about 20. It's some good business. So I'm excited to see. I think we need definitely defenders. It's not the name that I think many people would have wanted. And again, our defense is something that really hurt us last year. And are these transfers in Estupinian and Coney De Winter the X factors in the defense? I don't think so. But again, we need players to solidify this defense, and I'm hoping Allegri can get that done, because under Fonseca, under Conceição, it wasn't working. So curious to see also the right back that they're bringing in from Young Boys. Apparently, again, we got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. He hasn't officially signed, but it seems to be. I don't even know how to pronounce his name there, the Zachary guy. I don't even know how to pronounce his name yet, but whatever his name, the young right back from Young Boys is another profile that we need a right back. Is he the answer? I don't think so. He's very young. Again, I don't know too much about him, but he's another name that seems to be coming in. We just need the official pen to paper. Who else am I missing? I don't know if I'm missing anybody else. I probably am, but off the top of my head, I can't think. But just other names that we've been linked to is the forward position. Obviously, Santiago Jimenez is our focal point, but they're looking to bring in other forwards, other number 9s, and with Vlahovic being up and down with Juve, I know there's been many links to Milan. I'll be honest with you, I hope he doesn't come. I don't really want him at Milan, but again, if there's a guy that can maybe get something out of him, if he does end up coming to Milan, and again, if he does come, I would want him to do well, even though I'm not a big fan of his, but as of late, it's going to be Allegri that is going to maybe hopefully get something out of him. So we'll see if that is to be. And another name is former Serie A player Rasmus Højlund from United. They're looking for maybe a loan with the option to buy. We'll see if that goes over any sort of finish line. because I think we do need some attacking help as well, besides just the forwards that we do have. But yeah, I think bringing back obviously Salamakers is another piece that's exciting, I guess you can say. But yeah, the outs also that I think the biggest one, like in terms of money, was obviously Mauchao, the 40 million. You got rid of Emerson Royale. That was like half a fucking pylon, so that was good. Oh yeah, Terracciano, the goalie, the backup keeper, was another name that they kind of swapped with Atalanta. Sportiello going the other way, Terracciano coming our way. A lot of like interesting outs. The double loan to Cremonese for Filippo Terracciano, the wing back, and Warren Bondo. Interesting, to say the least. Who else? I think the biggest one also is Camarda to Lecce. That deal, because I think this is. I would have liked to have seen Camarda get Milan minutes. Like, I know he needs minutes regardless, but I want to see it in a Milan shirt. It's unfortunate that he has to go out to Lecce. I hope he does well there. I'm hoping that he gets a lot of minutes. I hope he scores a lot of goals. But that's a deal that they can bring him back for, I think, 4 million. I think the obligation is at 3. They have a buyback for 4. So we'll see what ends up happening with all that. I mean, this is a player that for the Italian national team, for just Italian Calcio, he's kind of that name has been really circling around. 16, 17 years old. It's ridiculous. The type of player that he's set out to be, and we'll see if it ends up panning out. But yeah, just overall, a lot of movement that I wasn't entirely expecting a lot of these deals to go through. I mean, we're linked to basically everybody, and sometimes we don't always bring those types of players in. But yeah, just whirlwind of emotion. Again, it's not over. There's still some time in the mercato to pull some more triggers on some more players and some more pieces, and we'll see if that happens. But I think Milan still needs to solidify their defense and probably another forward or two, and that would probably be maybe the ideal end of the summer mercato. But again, remains to be seen what happens, and excited for the new season for sure with the pieces that I named and that Milan has added.
Before we give our predictions, just want to touch on some other transfers. I think one team with interesting transfers has to be Bologna.
Absolutely.
Momule and Bernadeschi. It's interesting moves for them as players as well, especially Bernadeschi coming back from MLS. You have to think, this is a World Cup season. Do they have something to prove? And, they're not joining a Bologna team that 5 years ago is a mid-table team. This is a Bologna team that finished, 6th or 7th last season. Are they playing the Europa League this year? Won Coppa Italia. So this, we'll see. We'll see, if it's something that if their transfers make Bologna better. But they're definitely an interesting team now. They're becoming, Atalanta level of interesting. This is a team that you want to follow. You want, secretly cheer for. Maybe we have, maybe we're saying that just because we have the Montreal ties.
Yeah,
Saputo to Bologna, but for me,
what a front three, eh? Bernadeschi, Mobile, and Orsolini. What is? I'm talking about FIFA. Like, this is
and they love their Italians.
Yeah,
in Bologna.
Yeah, their coach too.
Yeah, ninth last year. Oh, I got confused. They finished ninth. They're in Europa League because they won the Coppa Italia.
The Coppa Italia, yeah.
Yeah, but they finished ninth, 62 points, 3 points behind Fiorentina, and they had a slow start. So again, we'll talk. I'll have more to say about Bologna after, but I don't know if there's other interesting moves from around the league. You guys,
off the top of my head, what's his name? Morata to Como. I saw. Czech Fabregas bringing in, a friend of his, I guess, to lead the line along with, their other forwards there. Talking about Canadians, we have two, now, obviously with Buchanan like leaving Inter, going to, I think, what was it, Villarreal. We brought another one in, and this is a very, very local to us, Ishmael Kone to Sassuolo. A move that, again, wouldn't have thought would have happened. I wasn't something that was on our radar, I don't think. But again, after just the mess at Marseille, and a lot of the videos and a lot of the the fighting with the Zerbi and just all that negative surrounding him, I hope that this loan move to Sassuolo is a breath of fresh air for him. Again, we're definitely. I know I am. I can speak maybe for the three of us. We're definitely cheering for Kone. Again, local ties to here. If it be NDG Soccer, if it be CS Saint Laurent, we had Rocco Pacentino a little while back. Speaking about him and giving him his high praises. So, a Canadian national team player, player, and again, integral part of the setup for Canada soccer. So I'm hoping to see him do well, and I hope Grosso gives him his minutes in Serie A, because again, he's such a talent, and honestly, I think he can do well in Serie A. I think not only is it tactical, but the physicality, the just his swagger. I think hopefully is good for Serie A, and just excited for Kone to hopefully get a fresh start after all the negativity that's seems to have been following him as of late.
Yeah, it's weird. It seemed like he had a spat with the Zerbi, but Marseille also released the video, which is just insane.
Terrible.
Like the actual club released it. It wasn't a leak or anything. Just insane. But yeah, hopefully for him, and I mean, hey, hopefully for him, he does well. Because it'll help Canada come June for the World Cup.
Yeah, at the end of the year, like at the end of the day, sorry guys, it's like it's a World Cup year. Like a lot of these players that we want to see do well, we just hope they do well. And again, it's that end goal of okay, Canada's in the World Cup because they're co-hosting, but Italy has to qualify to get there, and we want our our players, our stars, our potential starters come this summer, do well throughout this season, and we're definitely rooting for them. And again, Kone is on that list for sure.
One thing I want to finish up before we move on, Roma.
Right. Forgot about Roma.
It's all good. I was like, I guess they're not coming back to me. So
no.
Not many in terms of like crazy additions and stuff. Like Lefebvre comes and goes. Like it's just crazy. You got Wesley coming in now for right back situation. You got Ferguson's going to be interesting for center forward. I can't wait to see what he does. But I think honestly, what the biggest move for Roma doing this season was Gasperini. I think that's the biggest move for Roma. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does with the current roster. I mean, the Tammy Abraham saga era is over. Fortunate that he had all his injuries and stuff, and that landed it with him being loaned off for Salamakers, and obviously the loan ended up finishing right now. So we don't even have Salamakers anymore. Hummel's retiring, which is crazy. It's like Matt Hummels played for AS Roma. It's something it's like KDB and Napoli. It's something that you never think you'd see in your lifetime, but hey, it happens. So overall, I'm curious to see how this season's going to turn out for them. I fully expect Roma to probably still be out of a Champions League spot. I don't think that they're going to make it into a Champions League spot because it's going to be a brand new season with coach, with Gasperini and stuff. And for now, I think, personally speaking, I think that this year is just going to be like a experimental year, I guess, just to see what he can do with the roster, who fits his plans, who doesn't, and where he wants to go with them. So, but it's going to be exciting to see because it finally feels like there's a plan in motion for Roma. I've been saying it many years where it's like it just feels like they're just doing quick fixes, duct tape fixes on this roster by signings, by getting this, by getting that guy. Like the most exciting things throughout the years, like guys like Mourinho and Dybala came and went. Well, Dybala's still on the team, but you know what I mean? Like it's it's felt like as if Roma's been going through the motions, especially with different ownership groups and different mentalities and goals and whatnot. But
A lot of band-aids.
yeah, a lot of band-aids. So I finally feel like as if there's some kind of plan in motion. So it's no longer just, okay, well, De Rossi didn't work out, and now you're going through three different managers before Ranieri took over. And now it's like, okay, well, we're going for something here. So let's, like, Gasparini's probably set up for the next, 3-4, at least 3 seasons. Plus, a guy like Gasparini is like, he was in Champions League with Atalanta. For him, like, he's not accepting anything less for Roma. He's like, he's definitely if he doesn't get this team at the Champions League level within a year or two, he's definitely going to let his frustrations be known. And, I don't think you want that as an ownership group to go through that mess again. So I think that's probably like the most important thing that Roma did this offseason. Let's see how he does with some faces being changed around the league in terms of management, in terms of who he has to compete against. But it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool.
I also wanted to add in terms of transfers, or not really just transfers, but just like actually a bit of transfers, a bit of rumors, but like the Lookman situation with Atalanta, I feel is weird with Inter. Like, it's he wants to go. They don't want to get rid of him for the price that Inter is offering. They want more. I find that is a bit of a mess. And honestly, the Atalanta, like, I don't know. Like, for me, it's a bit. It's like talking about interesting year. I think it's going to be interesting for Atalanta, because it's no longer, like you said, for Roma, Johnny. Just to echo off the way you're saying, Gasparini to Roma is huge. Whereas I also find like him leaving Atalanta and the replacement that they brought in is just as like big, but in the opposite direction. Like, it's such a positive for Roma, whereas I think it's so much of a negative in my opinion, for Atalanta. Losing Gasperini, bringing in Juric, you're one of, if not your top player, kind of wanting out, to a direct rival to an extent, right? In Inter, we'll see if that ends up going, across the finish line come the end of the Mercato. But just an interesting situation that, they sell off Retegui to Saudi or wherever he is, Qatari, whatever league it is. Again, interesting move. Ruggeri from Atalanta going again also to join his other Italian paisan in Atletico. Him and Raspadori are the 2 Italians that went out there. So again, a player that I personally like on the flanks, but they lose him too. So just I don't know, kind of a bit decimating for Atalanta. And again, maybe that'll echo into where we kind of maybe position them in terms of our predictions. But just so far, not enough for a team that has done so well as of late. But again, they're gonna find a way to prove this statement wrong and look within and somehow have a crazy season. But we'll see. But not a big fan of their business so far, and just how things have kind of unfolded at Atalanta personally.
Perfect. It feels like this is a perfect transition into our predictions, because I feel like Atalanta is probably that team where we don't know where they're going to end up. They've always kind of been like top 4 team under Gasperini. Now that with change, what's going to happen under Juric, who's kind of a controversial coach himself. He's not. He seems like he's could be a bit stubborn. To put it lightly. I know he kind of had some issues even at Torino, but maybe that's what they need at Atalanta too, because, based on all the stories you hear about Gasperini, he's not exactly the one who's going to bow down to external pressure either. But guys, we'll do top 7. Last year we said our first coach fired, which the 3 coaches we gave didn't even get fired during the season.
Crazy.
And which is nuts. And then for fun, let's, even if you want to throw in bottom 3 relegation teams.
Sure.
I have mine written down. Adrian, you're going to be surprised with this, but Milan's going to win the Scudetto this year. You know why?
This guy's pulling at me from last season. He's going to pull at me from this year too, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned, guys. Calcio guys, let's go.
Mr. Max Allegri. This this has the makings of Napoli from last season. You know, a team that finished 10th the season before. Milan was were they 10th or 8th last year?
8th.
It was 8th.
Yeah.
8th last year. Bringing a new coach who's a serial winner in the Serie A. Maybe not so much in Champions League. Yes, I know. Different situation than Napoli because Napoli was, Scudetto champion, well, now almost 3 years ago. And they had a much better roster. But I think with the way that Inter kind of trended down towards the end of the last season, and the way that Napoli is going to have to play in all three competitions, and we know Conte doesn't manage that well, as you talked about before, Johnny. I think I know this is a bold prediction, but I'm going to make a bold prediction. And I'm going to say Milan. I'm going to go Milan, Napoli, Inter as a top 3, but it's going to be a very tight race. We're not going to have a runaway race this year. I think it's going to be very tight, kind of like last season, or even 3-4 years ago when Milan won the Scudetto. Number 4, I am going to go with Roma because of Gasperini. So my top 4 predictions are almost pretty much because of the coaches, at least coaching changes. This is a team that they were kind of trending upwards towards the end of the last season, obviously with Ranieri. And I think they made the right moves, or at least staying status quo. Again, Dybala is their star player. It seems like he kind of revived his career with Roma. So I think they sneak back into the top 4, and my Juventus is 5. Don't forget, Juve and Roma finished 1 point apart last season. So as bad of a start that Roma had, it was also a terrible ending for Juve to finish 1 point apart. A lot could happen this season. So I think, with Juve, with Tudor, again, I don't think they have ambitions for Scudetto. Obviously, their ambitions are top 4. I think they just miss out and finish 5th. And right behind them is Atalanta and Bologna. Atalanta, again, we just talked about. I think they have enough to really still challenge, but without Gasperini and without that same structure, they're not going to finish top 4. But I think top 6th place seems a bit more realistic, and Bologna improved on their 9th place finish from last year. But even if you look at the last year's standings, I had it. Sorry, 1 second. I had it before. Only a couple of points separated 9th, 8th, 7th, and 6th. 3 points separated Fiorentina, Lazio, Milan, Bologna. So even teams like Fiorentina and Lazio, they're going to be in the hunt. I know Lazio is a team we probably don't give enough respect to, year to year. But they had a respectable season last year, finished tied with Fiorentina. Fiorentina ultimately got into the Conference League. Lazio missed out. So for sure, there's, those are 2 teams that are going to challenge for the top 7 as well. But I feel like after that, I know Como finished 10th last year, but after that, it was a 13 point difference between Bologna in 9th and Como in 10th. I kind of think that top 9 in the Serie A is just miles ahead of the rest of the league. It's it's good to have 9 teams challenge for those spots, kind of make it unpredictable, but I don't see any other team below. Yeah, sure, you could say Como, maybe even Torino, but they're not on the same level as those 9 teams. Bottom 3, I'm going to say Cremonese, who just came up, Lecce and Cagliari, who just escaped relegation last year. So Sassuolo and Pisa stay in the Serie A, at least for next year. That's my prediction. And first fired coach, I'm going to go with Zanetti from Verona. It's Verona. You never know with this team. This is a coach that it's his 2nd season with the club. It almost feels like sometimes these coaches get fired 2nd season. Maybe some of the coaches who are just starting out their clubs are going to get a bit bigger leash in their 1st season. So shot in the dark, Paolo Zanetti, Verona. First coach fired.
Johnny, you? Or do you want me to go? Johnny's muted.
I guess I was muted because I forgot the dog was barking in the background, so I don't want to
It's all
pick it
good.
up.
You want to go or you want me to go?
I guess I'll go. In terms of winners, I guess I'll be a little bit cocky. I think Napoli repeats.
Ooh.
I'll get a little bit cocky. It's the first time I'll choose one of my teams to win, so I'll get cocky and I'll say Napoli repeats with Inter finishing 2nd, Juve finishing 3rd, and Milan getting fourth. Not because, like I say, I think they don't like Allegri is a big boost for the team, but they still need a bit more. But I think Allegri is going to do something very interesting with Leao. I think what we need to do is keep an eye out on Rafa Leao under Max Allegri. Is going to be. I'm curious to see what he does there. And like I said, Modric going there is great for the team, especially that like with a defensive minded manager like Allegri might be some interesting magic happening there. So who knows? And so I'm like, when I say first to fourth, I don't think it's also going to be like, I think I agree with Nick when he says that it's not going to be like a big gap. I think it's probably going to be like a difference in terms of points from first to fourth would probably be like maybe at most 7-8 points, like something like really close. I don't like maybe like a game and a half, 2 games difference. You know what I mean? Or 2.5 difference. Like, I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy of a difference. So that'll be my top 4. Fifth would be Roma. We're going for 6th to 7th, right? Fifth, Roma. I think honestly, I think I go 6th Bologna and 7th Lazio. I think Lazio does I don't think Atalanta retains any of their top 4 spots because they're losing too much. They've lost too much, and they still continue to lose more. I think Como retains in the top 10. I think Como retains in the top 10, especially with oh my god,
do they finish 8th?
Morata coming back to Serie A with Como. That's gonna be cool to see. Do they finish 8th? You know what? I said 10th.
Is that the prediction
10th,
this year?
This year it's gonna be 8th. This year I'm predicting Como 8th. That means
heard it here first, guys. Calcio guys.
That means Fiorentina is gonna be 9th. Everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck is Gianni on?" I like that's so hard, man. As you go on and on, it's so weird because like a lot of it's a toss up, right? No, but like. In all seriousness, Como top 10 again this year. I could totally see that happening. Now, first manager fired. Jesus, that's going to be tough. I really, really, really don't know. I'm looking at teams that have high expectations with their managers. You could say Tudor's got high expectations, but I don't think Juve is going to do anything too drastic. I'm also looking at how long have managers been with their teams and stuff too.
You're really giving it some thought, Johnny.
I know. Fuck it.
I like it.
It's hard. You know what? I'm just throwing a dart against the wall. Nothing against the guy, but I'm going with Grosso.
Grosso from Sassuolo.
Yeah, from Sassuolo. Just throwing a dart at the board. If I hit it, great. If I don't hit it, I won't be too pissed.
And relegation teams.
I think Sassuolo is going to be one of them again. That's why Grosso is probably going to be on his way out because it's probably going to be a terrible start for them. Maybe Cremonese. Maybe. I'm saying maybe.
Last one.
So Cremonese, Sassuolo, and Pisa.
So the 3 ones that come up, the 3 go down.
Yeah, like I don't like
cop out.
Because it's like let's be honest. Are we really going to be expecting any of the shock factor teams to go down? Like it's not like Como had the finances to come back up and stay up.
Yeah.
Lecce, for example, might be once again on standby to probably one of those teams as well. Like I think Lecce just finishes outside of that space. Like it's their team too that you could easily put in those 3 spots because last year was a close call, and I expect this year to be another close call, if not the time that they get knocked down. So I know it sounds like a cop out, but like realistically speaking, like you're looking at each team, and each team's realistically has a chance. Like despite, for example, like Atalanta having like a lot of losses, they're not going out of the top 10. Like Torino is like they're gonna probably be a team that's gonna maybe be like in the middle of the 10th to 14th range. It's
Genoa too.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Parma might actually be one of those teams that might be in danger of being relegated again. What was it? We're talking about it today. The center back that got transferred to Liverpool.
Leone,
the
18-year-old.
18. My bad. Even worse. 18 years old. 35 million euros. Like
plus 5 with add-ons. I think it's like around $40 million package.
And Parma retains sell-on percentage too.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. According to Fabrizio Romano, there's also like sell-on percentages that are going to be due to Parma if Liverpool generates a profit off of him, which smart business, honestly, by Parma to do that. Like you milk the Prem off some really good money, especially with a very high-end like potential center back, probably like since Bastoni that's been hyped, right? And you have the potential to make even more money afterwards. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's Parma and Lecce are probably the other two teams I would probably put in the mix of like potentially being relegated. But fuck it, I'll say the three that came up. I know it's the easiest answer. I know people are gonna be like, oh, okay, rolling their eyes, but it's really hard to see any other team being in that bottom three right there.
Understandable. No, I mean I agree. Like at least I don't think like they don't have like the teams that are coming up. Like maybe besides Sassuolo because of the the pedigree that they have kind of etched out throughout this past. What has it been like 10 odd years plus whatever it's been. Besides last year going down and stuff like. Like they don't have the backings of like the Comos of the world, even the Monzas of the world. Like when they had their little bit of a run in Serie A. Obviously it came to an end last season, going down now. But like it's a cop out answer, and we bug you for it. But I think it's like probably very realistic as well. But we'll see. For me, predictions again. I usually get them wrong. Last season, I hit some darts last season somehow. So Nick stole my answer for the Scudetto champion. I'm gonna be the bold one too with Nick. We're gonna hold hands on this one. I'm gonna put them. Yeah, we're gonna hold hands. I'm gonna pick Milan for champions of Italy. Getting the 20th star. It's the 20th star, 20th Scudetto, second star. 20 stars would be crazy. But it just, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it'll happen. I'm on the fence. Like for me, it's Napoli's to lose because I think they are still up there. Again, I don't think even with the losses that they did lose, again, I think the additions that they brought in are substantial enough. They managed to win. Again, I know they didn't have the Champions League competition or just Europe to deal with, but losing their pretty much their MVP in Kvaratskhelia mid-season and not really replacing him and still winning the Scudetto, and then minus not having one of their leading goal scorers in Osimhen and still winning the league, like their team got better. And again, I think it's very much theirs to lose. So I think it's really a toss-up for me, but I'm going to be bold and I'm going to stick to my guns of what I did last year. The one competition merchant is going to win the Scudetto the following year. And in this case, it's Milan. No Europe, unfortunately, for my Milan. But hopefully, and with my prediction and Nick's prediction, they win the Scudetto. Second place is going to be Napoli for me. Again, like I said, what they've brought in has been incredible, and it's theirs to lose. So I think they do finish second. Inter for me is going to finish third. Again, for me, it's the biggest loss for them. I think is the coach. Inzaghi out the door. Again, we haven't really touched upon it throughout this episode, but I'm going to bring it up now. Him going to Saudi, and maybe that cycle was over, but I don't know if Kivu coming in is going to be the answer that's going to really put this team, over the hump or do better than what they've done in seasons past. So for me, that's the biggest question mark for Inter's season is going to be their coach, and like the additions that they've added, I think are good. and I can't really think of too many of the crazy losses that they've had. You guys can probably, correct me there, but yeah, I'm curious to see how Kivu does and how the team, rallies to him. And we've had always Inter with the same mold for these past years, and it's worked. Obviously, last year they kind of were stretched a bit too thin near the end of the season, and didn't come out with any trophy. But we knew what we were getting with Inter. We were getting the Inzaghi ball with the player, their starters that were just on form for many years and doing really well. So we'll see if that translate under Kivu. But again, I think the top three is going to be the tightest of races. And how I'm seeing it, I'm going to go, like I said, Milan, Napoli, Inter in third. And then fourth, I'm going to put Juve. For me, again, it's going to be that seesaw from 4-5 with them and Roma for me personally. I think Juve sneaks in. Again, it's year two with Tudor. I don't really like the moves like that or lack of business that they've had. Is that going to come and bite them in the ass? I don't know, but having competition at the number 9 position, bringing in Jonathan David, and if they can get, again, I don't know what's the missing factor for Kolo Muani. Is it like, do they just want to make him a permanent deal, or they want another loan? Like, I don't know. Do you know, Nick? You don't know?
No clue.
So,
No clue.
So anyways, we'll see if that happens, if they can get him to come back, because I think he did, again, maybe, I don't know, I'm not a Juventino, so I don't really watch Juve week in, week out, but I think he did pretty good for Juve. I think he was, in an up and down season, I think he was an important factor, scored quite a bit of goals considering, the season that he had. But I think that seesaw 4-5 is gonna continue, and it's gonna be between Juve and Roma. I'm gonna again etch just the if you will quality, if you will experience, if you will history towards Juve in finishing fourth. So yeah, that's gonna be my top four: Milan, Napoli, Inter, and Juve. Roma is going to finish fifth, and again, I don't think they're going to be too far off. The only thing that I think is, for me, is that, again, the moves that they did make, and maybe the losses and just their mercato as a whole, for me is a bit of a question mark. Like, I don't know too much about this Ferguson, profile in the attack. Can he do well in Italy? I don't know. They need to score a lot of goals, and hopefully he can contribute to that alongside Dovbyk, and we'll see how that kind of pans out. I think Wesley as our right back is an interesting name that they brought in, and one that I'm excited to see him do well in Serie A, because I think it's a profile that suits our league. But again, like, I think a lot of things kind of have to go right in year one under Gasperini for Roma for them to get into top four. I think they'll be close. I just don't think they really just get over that final hump. But again, last year was 1 point. It might be, again, that same 1 point, maybe 2, maybe 3. Like, I don't see it being that much off. I just think under Gasperini, it's a project. To echo what Johnny said earlier, and it's finally a project that they have, and I think the Roma fans are gonna have to be willing to maybe wait a bit. Again, I know it's been a long wait that they've had to already endure, but if you give Gasperini the time, like we gave him at Atalanta, I think they will benefit from it in the long run. Are we gonna see immediate results? Maybe not, but I think that they will be competitive, and I think they'll end up ultimately finishing fifth. For me, sixth is a tough one. For me, it's probably between Bologna, Lazio, or Bologna, Lazio, or Fiorentina for me. I'm gonna say Bologna in sixth. That front three is just interesting. It's just cool to me. I don't know, like it's a front three that again I didn't think we would see, especially with how the career paths of Immobile after he left Lazio went, and obviously Bernardeschi coming to MLS, coming to TFC, going back to Europe. I didn't think was so soon. I didn't think was on the cards for these players. But again, leave it to Bologna to do it. Di Vaio and company to get it, Sartori getting it done right. And Vincenzo Italiano now has some well, not now, but has some retooling to do and some work to do to have another impactful season. And I think finishing sixth is another stepping stone for this Bologna team. Again, I think it'll be close. But yeah, I'll put them in sixth. Seventh, I will put. For me, again, it's going to either be between Lazio or Fiorentina. It's Sarri 2.0 with Lazio. Again, I haven't really seen big splashes in their mercato. Fiorentina either, really, I guess you can say for that matter. But I will say Lazio seventh, Fiorentina eighth. Como ninth and Atalanta 10th, I think. I think Atalanta is going to have the biggest drop. Or maybe even Atalanta 9, Como 10. I don't know. And like for me, it's a toss up there. Yeah, Atalanta, again, maybe it's very premature for us to kind of like really just throw them to the wolves, but I don't know, man. I'm not overly excited as of right now. August, what is it? 13 today, Wednesday night here in Montreal. I'm not excited for this Atalanta campaign, especially if they lose Lookman. If they lose Lookman and Retegui, the capocannoniere of last season, and the player that basically won them the conference, or was it Conference League, Europa League, whatever it was a few seasons ago, Europa League. Right? Europa League. Europa League. In the span of one summer mercato, it's a big loss. So I think they take the biggest downfall or the biggest fall, come this season, and they'll probably flirt with between 8th and 10th, in my opinion. But that's how I see it. So Milan, Napoli, Inter, Juve, Roma, Bologna, Lazio, and then it's going to be either Fiorentina, Como, Atalanta, that mixture from 8 to 10. To be relegated, Cremonese is finishing last, I think. I think Pisa also goes down. I don't think they've done enough. It's unfortunate because I think they hired Gilardino, if I'm not mistaken. It's Gilardino at the helm there, yeah. Right? After his exit, after Pippo Inzaghi leaving to go to Palermo, Gilardino comes in. They brought in Quadrado, which I find is just hilarious, right? He's been to how many Nerazzurri teams after Juve? It's incredible. I don't know. I think he's done like the trio of relevant Nerazzurri teams as of late. So I don't know if they've done enough in their mercato. Neither Cremonese either. I know they brought in Giannis Baschirotto. Muscles Marinaro there, right? He's Mr. Muscles. But again, I think they finished last. Pisa 19th, and then 18th. I would say. See, there I find it tough. I'll probably say, I don't know now. I'll probably say Lecce. Again, I hate to say it. I don't want to say Lecce because I want Camarda having Serie A minutes, but they'll go down. Milan will get him back, and hopefully he'll get some Milan minutes after that. So I'll go with that because I think between Lecce, who else I was thinking? Lecce, Cagliari, and Parma, I think will be in that last bubble for me. I'm going to pick Lecce, cold-heartedly, but that's who I see there. And then coach fired again. For me, it's between two. I don't even remember who's Cremonese's coach. Can we pull that up, producer? Do we have a producer here? No producer. Nick,
Yeah.
Can you pull that up?
Nick is the producer.
Nick's the producer. Can we pull that up, please?
You said ask Cremonese.
Cremonese's coach.
You're gonna laugh.
Who is
Davide Nicola.
It's Davide Nicola, right? One of the Serie A mainstays of coaches in the coaching carousel of Serie A. It's Davide Nicola. Usually he's come in, save you, salvation, and then whatever happens afterwards. But he's starting the year at Cremonese, right? He's not coming in to save the day. I think he gets relegated. So it's either for me, it's a toss up between him. That's the easy cop-out answer. But my bold one, and I think the one I'm going to stick with, is going to be Juric from Atalanta. I'm going to be the bold one. I'm going to say Juric from Atalanta. I think, I don't know, man. Like he's a middle table team type of coach. I don't think has ever, in my recent recollection, has really, managed a top side. And Atalanta's been proven to be a top side in Serie A for the last handful of years, right? So, and a team that it pains me to say to kind of have a regression, but with all the moves and the lack of maybe quality additions, I'm gonna say Ivan Juric is the first manager fired, and they're gonna have to act fast to bring in a replacement. Again, I don't know who that replacement will ultimately be. But I think it's going to be him that gets fired first, if it's not Davide Nicola from Cremonese. But that's kind of how I see it. Those are my predictions. Hopefully we can come back to this like we do every year. Either have a laugh because we're so wrong, or say to everybody we told you so, and that we're right. So we'll see how it ends up. But those are Calcio Guys predictions 2025-2026 season of the Serie A.
Yeah, I wrote everything down, so I'm gonna send it in our group chat after.
Pin it always.
And it's just funny because we recorded the preview episode for last season a year ago yesterday. It was August 12th. I saw.
Okay, nice.
So I guess
we're right on schedule.
We're used to doing it this time of year. But this is fun. It's good to get back, quote unquote, in the studio, if you want to call it that. But I'm excited. Man. Serie A is right around the corner.
Coppa Italia going on, right?
Yeah, already. Pescara won. I forget who was it Rimini they played? I forget. But the Pescara advanced. I forget who they play in the next round. But yeah, it starts early. This stuff.
Well, Milan plays Bari on the 17th. So in 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is, 4 days. Sorry. I think it's the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. That's the Sunday, like Johnny alluded to earlier, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. So they play, Bari on the 17th.
Yeah. So which is crazy to say. It's first time in a long time that they have. I saw the stat. Now it escapes me, but it's the first time that they have to do they have to qualify to get in there.
Just the round of 16, yeah.
For the round of 16 for so long, so many years. So we'll see. Milan season, I guess, really kicks off Sunday in terms of this Coppa Italia. But yeah, Serie A right around the corner, 10 days away. I don't know, man. I couldn't be more pumped.
That's crazy. Yeah, and like I said, Pescara, they beat Rimini. They play Parma on the weekend. So Forza Pescara as well in the Coppa Italia. But I think that'll do it for us. And Gianni, enjoy Italy. Eat well.
Thank you.
Safe
I will.
travels.
Find
I
yourself
will.
a girlfriend.
Eat
I'm
well.
trying.
That's a
Watch
given.
Calcio.
I'm trying, and I will.
But yeah, enjoy the Serie A season, guys. I mean, we'll talk every week, but no, it was good start for season 8 of the Calcio guys.
I couldn't agree more. Season 8, like we said at the top of the show, just can't believe it. We hope to have another great year of covering Calcio, covering Serie A, covering the Italian national team, whatever it's going to be, Canadian national team, throughout this World Cup qualifying year. And I don't know if we're going to be recording next week. We'll see how things work out, but probably once Johnny gets back, we'll be back on our usual grind, guys. So definitely stick with us. I know we were on a bit of hiatus from our last episode until now, but again, just appreciate all the support. And to do so, you guys got to follow, like we say every time we're on. Follow us at the Calcio Guys on all social media platforms. For the audio version of the podcast, that's where you can find that. Rate with 5 stars. We have a comment there. And for all video content of the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, guys. It's very simple. Like we say every time we're on, subscribe on YouTube, like, comment, share, post notifications, turn them on. We'll be back. We'll be back when we're back. We'll see you when we'll see you. We'll talk to you when we talk to you next time, and hopefully soon on the Calcio, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.